Okay, let's keep moving forward here. I would like to introduce our next guest. It is Edie Eckman. She's going to share with us 3 must-know crochet tips. And as we know, many of our weavers start out with crocheting and knitting. So Edie, thank you.
I'm so thrilled to be here, and I want to say I'm a weaver too, but that's my hobby because my work is knitting and crochet, so I had to pick up a rigid heddle loom and then another rigid heddle loom because you have to do that. So I'm really thrilled to be here as part of this Fiber-A-Thon, and I hope everybody will support all the fiber arts and including HGA. So as a crochet teacher, knitting teacher, crochet teacher, I see a lot of times people get confused about certain things in crochet. So I thought I would give you sort of I'm not going to say they're my 3 top tips. These are just 3 important tips for understanding crocheting, being really comfortable with the crochet fabric you're making. I am going to switch my camera here so that you will be able to see my hands, and hopefully that will come up just fine. I have some teaching yarn here. This is not what I typically crochet with, but it shows up really well on camera, so that's what I'm using. The first thing I want to talk about is turning chains, because this is double crochet. People don't know where to put their hook when they start a new row. So I'm going to turn and chain 3, and yes, there are many other ways you can start the row, but let's just do our typical chain 3. Now what I'm going to do, let me go back here. I like to show you using stitch markers. So I'm going to put a stitch marker in this last double crochet of my previous row. Now let me turn and do my chain. 1, 2, 3. If I'm going to use this chain 3 as a turning chain or as a stitch, then I need to skip that stitch that I just made, the last one of the last row, because that chain 3 becomes a double crochet. So I'm not going to put another double crochet in here unless I'm trying to increase. What I'll do is I'll work in the next stitch. But before I do that, I'm going to grab another marker. And I'm going to put that marker in the top chain. Notice it's not the loop on my hook, it's the top chain. Because when I come back, I want to be able to find that chain. So I have marked my last stitch and I've marked my top chain. Now I'm going to do my double crochet. I'm going to skip that stitch. I'm not really skipping it because I've made a stitch in it. That was my chain 3. So double crochet there. I can remove that marker. Don't need that anymore. Double crochet all the way across the row. And because my chain 3 on the previous row counts as a stitch, I have to make sure that I work into the top of that chain. So here's my chain 3. I have to make sure that I put a stitch in the top of that chain. Notice I had not marked it. So here I am. Let's make sure I still have the same number of stitches. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me put a marker in the last stitch I made. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a marker in this top chain, not in the loop that's on my hook, but in the top chain. And then I see I'm going to skip that stitch that I marked here and double crochet into the next stitch. Now that's a lot of markers, and with a short row like this it gets kind of annoying, but this is just to show you how you can start to read your work. Eventually you won't need the markers because you'll understand where the first and last stitches are. But notice now that I've worked across here, and because I put a marker in that top chain, remember when I put that marker in the top chain, now that marker is there like a little flag. It's saying, hey, put a stitch here. So that tells me that I need to make sure I put a stitch in that last stitch, in that last turning chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm maintaining the same number of stitches and I'm keeping straight edges. So that's a way I can use stitch markers to help me understand where the first and last stitch of that row is. Now, you can also do this with single crochet and double crochet or half double crochet, treble crochet, whatever. If you want to see how I use them in those different stitches, I have some YouTube videos. So I can put that in the chat. Let me go ahead and put some links in the chat here that can help you with that. So the next thing I want to show you is a problem that a lot of people have. I'm going to take my markers out here so they're not in the way. And that is getting the row gauge right. Like you may say, oh, I get my stitch gauge is fine, but my row gauge is really giving me a problem. I never match the designer's row gauge. And that's a lot harder to do sometimes in crochet than it is in knitting, because I'm going to do this with double crochet, because the row is so tall sometimes compared to this stitch gauge. Well, here's one thing that might be happening. Let me do another double crochet. So that's yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two. And there's how tall my double crochet stitch is. Watch me again as I do it. When I do the yarn over and I go in and I pull up a loop, that loop that I'm just pulling up right now is called the golden loop. And I could leave it down here. Note the angle of my crochet hook. See how I'm leaving that hook pretty small? I could do my double crochet like this. That's going to give me a relatively short stitch. It's still a double crochet, but it's going to be relatively short. I could go in, pull up my golden loop to where the hook is approximately parallel, or I could go in and I could really yank it up so that my hook is kind of at an angle like this. And depending on how I treat that golden loop, notice the different height of my stitches there. So pay attention to the angle of your hook and how much you're pulling up on that golden loop. And that will help you adjust the height of your stitches. My final tip, and I'm going to grab a different yarn here. This is more teaching yarn and it's a different color. And that is, if you're starting a new yarn, you don't have to do a slip stitch and then a chain 3 to get your hook up to the level, or chain 1 or whatever. You can just start with a standing stitch. So if I start with a slip knot on my hook, and let's say my instructions say to do a single crochet, I just start with a slip knot on my hook and I do a single crochet. That's a standing single crochet and it's just there. I don't have to do any kind of slip stitch or chain 1. I can do the same thing with double crochet, start with a slip knot on my hook, yarn over, go in, and just do my double crochet. So I'm joining my new yarn just by doing that standing stitch. You get a little slip knot up here. There are ways you can mitigate that, but you don't have to use that chain 3 or chain 1 or whatever with a slip stitch. It just makes a cleaner beginning to your new color. So I think that's my 10 minutes. Thank you so much for having me. And as I say, I put some links in the chat if you want to learn more about these tips. And I hope I'll see some of you again sometime.
Thank you so much for that, Edie. That was wonderful. Christine Williamson shared that. She said, great tip. She said, I've been crocheting for 57 years. These are things we do automatically, but beginners may miss.
Right.
And I actually, my stepmom taught me how to crochet, and I could never get past that single line. I think maybe I got to the double where you start doing the second row, but she
take a look at my YouTube videos or reach out to me online and I'll see how I can help you.
I should. It's been years since I've picked up a crochet hook. Well, thank you so much for that. We appreciate your time. Okay, we have a couple minutes before our well, actually, we're just going to go ahead into our next presenter because it is Emily Churchill, who is our communications coordinator. So HGA is going to step in here and talk a little bit about our Fiber Art calendar and why you may want to use that. So I'm going to add you to the spotlight, Emily, because nobody wants to hear from me at this point. I'm sure they're all going to grow tired, but gonna let you take some time to talk about the fiber art calendar and how that's used and how it's resourceful. So go for it.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm super excited. First ever Fiber-A-Thon. And I hope that everybody has been enjoying their time as much as I have. I know I've already learned so much and we're only 2 hours in, which is unbelievable. So, as Liz said, I am here to talk about our Fiber Arts calendar today. So, this is a great resource that HGA provides to everybody, members, non-members alike. And what it is a compilation of all things fiber arts, everything that's happening. And it is this busy, robust system populated by HGA members and other fiber artists like yourselves, but we are always looking for more content. So I am going to show you where to find the calendar on our website, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to submit to the calendar to have your event listed. And if I have more time at the end, we'll see. I might show you a few more things that we have on our website that would be of use to you. All right, let me see if I can share my screen. Can everybody see our website okay?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So on our handy dandy website, under resources, you're going to go to Fiber Arts Calendar. And this is entirely user generated. So this is all populated because of you and other fiber artists like you and other guilds who submit their events, their exhibits, their calls for entry, their grant submission deadlines, their scholarship submission deadlines, workshops, classes, all sorts of things can be accepted here. So when you get to this landing page, it's going to be sort of just a big long list of everything that is happening in this point in time. I will say, so you'll notice Deborah Kruger's exhibit going on right now. It's going on for a couple of months, so it's going to show up for, every day on our calendar through the end of the show run. If you prefer, you can click on this monthly tab and it actually takes you to a weekly view and you could see what is going on and cycle through. So you could see what's going on in April. And like I said earlier, you can see here this, for instance, this exhibit started in December and it's running through September. So it'll show up every week through then. Going back to our agenda, there are plenty of ways to search this calendar. So if you want, you can search by location. So if you are in Georgia, for instance, you can search by the Southeast, and Southeast exhibits, opportunities, and so on will show up. If you want a certain type of tool that you want to learn if there's any events about, say we want to learn about looms, we can look up loom and all sorts of helpful stuff pops up. Another type of, so, if we want to say we are in Virginia and we're looking to see if there is a weaving exhibit in the area, we can type in exhibits and everything under that keyword shows up as well. So lots of different ways to use this as if you're looking for different options. Now, how to submit. We want everybody to submit everything that they want to share. This helps all sorts of people around the world get more involved and spreads the word about your work, about your guild, and so on. So super easy. You're going to click Submit Event, and then just fill out this really easy form. So just to show you what it looks like, my name's Emily. Hello. My event title, we're going to say Weaving Class. We're going to click Add a Button, linking to the event website. Optional, you don't have to, but you could say, for instance, we wanted to go to the HGA website. Events, keywords. This is what I was talking about earlier. This is how people will find your event when they are searching by keywords. So if I want to say it's a basket making event, I can also say there are other things that I want it to be searchable. So it's a call to entry for basket making, for instance. Always, good rule of thumb for anything you put online is to add an image. It makes it so much more, like it stands out to people who are using the calendar. So add an image, drag and drop files. So I have a photo of my gorgeous cat waiting. So we are going to put a picture of Bird in there. And we're going to say it's tomorrow, 9 to 7. Or we could say, for instance, it's all day. Add a description in here, test, test. Add the event link. If it is online, you could, for instance, say register here, and it could take you to a Zoom page. If it is a Zoom like this Fiber-A-Thon Zoom where you can just click and attend right away, you don't have to register. You could just say join the Zoom right here. If it's a street address, this actually helpfully lets you put in the venue name and the street. So you could say, for instance, like the Smithsonian Museum, and then you could put in the address and directions. So easy peasy. Then just say check and submit. It's gorgeous. Bird looks like as beautiful as he ever does. I'm excited for this to be on the calendar, and I click submit. So super easy. And then what happens is it gets sent to me, and I say fabulous event, and I approve it, and it goes right on the website. So very easy. I would encourage everybody to put up all of their, exhibits, your calls for entry, your workshops, anything. This is a very well trafficked part of the site. So highly, highly encouraged. All right, Liz, how am I doing on time? Do I have time to go?
We have plenty of time, but I want to mention Lucy asked, would guild meetings be appropriate to add to the calendar? And yes, they would. If your guild meetings are open to anybody, add them to the calendar. And the one thing that you haven't shown is show that subscribe button, Emily.
Ta-da!
So you can subscribe to this calendar. If you want to get updates when something is added, you'll get an email in your inbox saying that there's something new on the calendar, which I think is pretty important if you're interested in looking for those call for entries and you want to know where you can show your work. Then you can just subscribe to the calendar, and every time something is added, you'll get a notice.
Yeah.
Right, awesome. Emily, we actually have a good about 5 minutes. So if you want to.
Oh my gosh, I talked way faster than I meant to. Good thing that there's lots to show you all. All right, so another thing I wanted to show is our affiliate guild directory. So we have a lot of folks who write to us and they say, I am a new weaver. I want to learn, I want to find a community, but I don't know where to start. Or they say, I just moved to XYZ area. I'm trying to find a guild. Can you help? Or they say, I'm in XYZ area. I need to rehome my beloved loom to a good family. Can you help? So what I tend to do is I send them to our affiliate guild directory, which is a compilation of all of the affiliate guild HGA members and the information about them. So if you, again, you're on our homepage, under resources, click directory affiliate guilds. Loading, loading, loading. And you will see there is a wealth of information here about all of these guilds from across the country, from across the world. It goes on and on and on and on. There are so many guilds, which is absolutely just amazing to see. And what you can do if you want, say I just moved to Virginia and I am trying to see if there is a guild in my area that I can get involved with. Ah, spectacular, there is one in Charlottesville. So if you click on this guild, it will show you a description. It'll show you the location. Sometimes, depending on the information that the guild puts in, it'll tell you what the membership fee is for the guild and how to get involved. And it shows contact information, who to reach out to, emails, websites, and the like. So if you're looking for an easy resource to get in touch with guilds in your area, this is a really, really good option for you. And I would say, in addition to that, we have a lot of folks that reach out to us saying, I'm doing a research project on this weaver from this area. Do you know anything about them? We had somebody reach out and say that they were looking for something about a HGA member from Florida in the 70s. A really good resource is to reach out to Florida guilds and say, hey, I'm looking for this information. They might have information we don't, and it's always good to, do your research in as many places as possible. So awesome resource, highly recommended. If you are an affiliate guild member, you'll probably know that this is something that we encourage our guilds to keep up to date to make sure that their profile is, active, good to go. I'm sorry, not active, up to date, correct contact information, and so on.
Emily, can you point out the advanced search portion of that?
Absolutely. So, as Liz pointed out, upper right-hand corner here, you can click advanced search, and this will help you beyond just these, I typed in Virginia here and it pulled up what was in the title. You can narrow it down. If you want to, for instance, you want to say you want a dyeing guild in Alabama, you can type those in. Loading, loading, loading. And excellent, we found one that has this type of fiber art in addition to others. So if you had, for instance, typed in Felting, Alabama, this would have still shown up. So lots of ways to target what you are searching for by location, by style and focus of art, by topic, whatever it may be. So I really encourage everyone to explore this resource, to use it to find local guilds in your area. If you're traveling and you want to meet the local guilds, this is a great resource for you to do that. And yeah, very easy to find on our website under resources.
I would also encourage that if you are one of our guilds that are listed here, review your listing, make sure it's up to date, add a logo or an image for your guild. Make sure that the information there that you want is what you want. Maybe it needs updated. That comes directly from the information you provide to us, and you have the ability to log into your guild account and update it.
Perfect. Do I have time to show the Facebook groups, Liz, or should I?
We do have time. Our next presenter thinks that they're going to be here on time, but they got just caught in traffic. So if you want to keep
Good thing I can talk for a long time. All right. So fantastic. So these are great resources that you can find on our website. So I wanted to plug, I'm the communications coordinator. So I have had the privilege of interacting with a lot of you on social media, on our various social media accounts. Very easy to find the various platforms we're on from the homepage of our website. Scroll to the bottom and you can follow us. Blue Sky, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube. I wanted to share real quick, where is my Facebook? Facebook, where are you? So we do have our standard Facebook page, which I would encourage everyone to follow if you don't already. I also wanted to point out that we manage a number of niche topic pages. So groups. So if you want to get to know a more targeted group, you want to, say you're a weaver, you want to interact very closely with other weavers in the community, join our HGA Weavers group. There are 6,000 members in this group just about. That is amazing. And this is not necessarily just HGA information that comes up in this. This is people talking to each other, sharing their work. I mean, check that out. That is unbelievable. Sharing invitations to workshops, sharing this is like a great little video about textiles at a museum. Very supportive community. People get questions answered, people ask for advice, people cheer each other on. Highly recommended to join. You just visit groups HGA Weavers. You have to fill out like I agree to the group terms and so on, and then we approve you and you can join in the fun. We also have a dyers group and a spinners group. You will see these are like slightly smaller groups, but still fab to join. Whoops, my Zoom is making it hard for me to navigate through all these various tabs. My apologies. And we have other groups as well that I won't go into right now, but probably if you have been to Convergence or have signed up to attend Convergence, you will know that we have Convergence Facebook groups so people can coordinate on travel, what they're learning about in the workshops. We can share information directly with you. And so we will certainly have a Convergence 2026 Facebook group eventually. And not only do we want to see you at Convergence, but we would love to see you in this Facebook group also. All right. Liz, how am I looking on time?
We are still waiting for our guest, but I have something that I can run that Julia was kind enough to prepare. So we can go ahead and run that for everybody, which actually has to do with our publication, Shuttle Spindle and Die Pot, that many people don't know is available online. And not only is it available online, but you can go back more than a decade to all of our past issues, which is a great resource. So Julia prepared a video for us. I'm going to go ahead and share that with everyone now. And we will just use this time to watch it. And then if our presenter shows up on time, we will go from there. So let's go into full screen and we're going to play.
All right, well, we occasionally get questions about how to access the digital magazine. And chances are, if you are a member of HGA, you already have access to it, but you may not know that. Why look at the digital magazine? There are a few reasons. We have membership opportunities where you only receive the digital issue of the magazine. But if you are someone who does prefer the print magazine, which most of you do, but it's taking a long time to get to you and you're really eager to see what's inside, accessing the digital magazine is a great way to get it's not even a sneak preview, it is a full preview of what is coming in the mail. So how do we access the digital magazine? Well, first things first, you're going to want to navigate to the Handweavers Guild of America website, which is weavespindye.org. You can then click on programs and then Shuttle Spindle Die Pot magazine, or you can just type weavespindye.org/ssd into your address bar and it will bring you to the same place. And there is a button right here that says read online. That is how you are going to access the digital magazine portal. Now, before we click on this, I would like to direct your attention to this paragraph right here. This is instructions on how to log in once you click this button. It is important. Your username and your password, that's what you're going to be asked for. And your username is simply the email that you used when you purchased or renewed your membership. And your password is your member number. Well, what if you don't know your member number? That is okay. I can never remember mine. There are two ways that you can find out what it is, actually three. And the first is to simply log in to your account. You're going to click on this, log into your HGA account, and it's going to pull up a page that looks like this once you log in. And your member number is right up here at the top. That's mine. Please don't use it. You can try, but you won't get anywhere. So once you have your member number and you know your email address, you can click the Read Online button. So let's go ahead and do that. So here it is, login password. You're going to use the information that we just talked about. And it's going to open up the magazine in this page view. So what is page view? Page view is designed to look exactly like you were paging through a magazine. So, it's going to show up on your screen with just the cover. And you can see there are going to be arrows, back and forth arrows once I open this up. That once I click the page, it's going to open to the next set of pages. So here's page 2 and page 3 of the magazine. So you can flip through the whole magazine this way. You can go forward, you can go backward, and that is one way to look through the magazine. If you hover down at the bottom or the top of your screen, this menu will pop up and it will tell you where exactly you are. Right over here, you can make the magazine full screen. And over here, you can search. There's a search option. So if you know, for example, if we are running a article about small expressions and you know you have a piece in small expressions and you want to find your name and your piece, you can use this search function. And let's look for Lauren. So if I'm Lauren and I want to see my piece, I search, I click enter, and then it will open up to the page where Lauren's first place small expressions piece is and all of the information about that. So that is one way to navigate through this magazine. Another way is you might notice as I am scrolling through, there are different red bands that pop up. Now this is really cool because as you are reading through an article and you see something like a website, you can actually click on it live in the online portal, and it's going to take you to that website. That's different from, a physical magazine. You can't do that. You got to type it in yourself. So that's a fun little feature. It'll open up in a new tab so that you can just go right back to scrolling. Another great way to use that is if you're back here at the beginning and you're looking at the page where all of the articles are listed, and you say, oh, I want to go straight to this basketry and textile adventures in France article by Barbara Shapiro, you can just click on it and it will blitz you right over there, and you do not have to sit and click, 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 click all the way through the rest of the articles. You can just go straight to that one. So that's great. Again, as you turn a page, it will show you what you can and cannot click on. We can talk about this in a second. So if you are in an article and you just click on the title, it's going to pull up this secondary screen here. And that is all of the text for the article, just the full text without any pictures. This might be handy if you find the text a little bit difficult to read. There's a zoom function, you can zoom in here, but if you don't want to do that and you want to see something in a little bit simpler, more easy to read view, you just click on the title when you get there. You can change the size of this. So you've got some options. You can get it really big, make it really easy to see. And then you can go back to article view, which then just opens the whole thing up like this. And if you want to go back to the page, you go visit page and you're back to your normal view. Okay, so let me explain how I just got to where I was. Back to page view. So I'm looking at the magazine, and this is one of the views that you can use. However, like I said, if you hover over the top or the bottom, the menu pops up and you can click on something called Contents View. And Contents View pulls up a page that looks like this. And you might say, this looks crazy. Why would you want to look at this page? Well, it is a quick overview on every single different heading in the magazine. And so it's, you can browse and click and it will then take you to the page. But the other benefit is that, as you can see right here, this is Hand Weaver's, this is issue 221, spring 2025. If you keep scrolling, here is issue 220, winter 2024. So you can keep scrolling like this and check out the content. Or if you notice over here on the side, you can do the same thing. There's a little scroll bar right here, and you can scroll down all the way to, oh my goodness, I think we even go prior to summer 2014. Yeah, we do. It just keeps loading. So, I'm really interested in what on earth is this, July 2014. I can click on that. I can go back to page view. And isn't that cool? Now I can page through this old issue of a magazine that maybe I didn't have because I wasn't a member at this time. So that's a really great feature to know about. And a lot of people do ask, how do I navigate to older issues? Well, you want to go up here to the menu, you want to click on Contents View, and that's how you're going to be able to access them. All right, so let's get myself back up to, it's going to take a minute because my internet is not wanting to cooperate right now. But all right, we're just going to go with it. I guess we're just going to go back to page view here. All right, so some other interesting features about the online portal is that you can go straight to the advertisers. So if you're someone who's like, I would like to know, who's got a new product, who has a new workshop, what is going on in the world of weaving, you can hit that menu button, hit the advertisers, and you can see all of the advertisers in the particular issue that you are looking at, which is wonderful. There we go. Don't know why that took so long. Okay. So here we are back at our current issue, spring 2025, advertisers right there. So here are all our wonderful advertisers. And for example, if you are over here and you want to see what is going on with MAFA, you can do that. And right there, mafafiber.org, if it is highlighted, you can click on it and it will take you to MAFA's website. Isn't that great? So that's just a short little tutorial on how to access the digital magazine. And we hope you use it. It is awfully handy and it's great for searching terms as well. So if I wanted to search, oh, I don't know, shaft, maybe I wanted to see all of the articles that discuss, shafts, then it's going to pull all of this up for me. And then I can choose what I want to look at. And actually, down here, there we go. And oh, if you do search and then click on the page you want to go to, your search terms will be highlighted so you can see where exactly on the page that you are includes the words that you've searched for. So I hope this has been helpful and I hope you take advantage of our online magazine.
Okay. So thank you, Julia, for putting that together. A little technical issue there. Now we are back on schedule, and our next presenter is Jaime Rosegren. She is going to talk about Guatemalan backstrap weaving. Thank you for getting through that traffic to get here, Jaime. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so sorry that I was late. It was just like a calamity of things. I'm trying to make sure that you can see everything I'm going to present. So my name is Jaime Rosegren. I am a local yarn shop owner and fiber artist in Metro Atlanta, Georgia. So I have a shop in Avondale Estates, which is a suburb of Atlanta. So I had the chance to go to Guatemala and study backstrap weaving last November with a company called Cacao Designs. They develop travel experiences based around a fiber art. And so you go and it's a week-long intensive. There's like a max of 3 students per class so that you can have individual instruction. It was an amazing experience and one that I will kind of treasure always because it was my first, but like the people that I met were amazing. They were so welcoming and open and sharing with their knowledge. So the trip consists of a 5-day week and you work in the mornings in kind of their garden patio. We were in the middle of a season change, so it wasn't oppressively hot, but it's still very much like here where it's cold in the morning and warms during the day in Atlanta. It was very much that kind of a temperature, so the afternoon got a little too warm to work out in the patio. You had to kind of move around to stay with the shade. So the first day, we went to Doña Eve's house. She lives about 15 minutes from Antigua, and we warped our looms at her house. So we would choose our colors and, make little packets that we would pull from when we were weaving. And then she had warping boards set up. And this was our initial task. And then we warped our looms. The second day. So as you can see up here, there's a little bit woven. So when you warp your loom, you weave a little bit and then you flip the entire thing around and you have to redo your shed. And that just helps you to establish structure at your top. These are cotton threads. So this is almost sewing thread. It's very, very fine. And then you have multiple sheds in this. So I have a smaller shed here, and then I have my main shed here and here. And this is what you call your sword. So this is my back strap, because you really do wrap it around your back. You take these pieces and twist tie them around the bottom. And then you have a piece of rope that goes along the top that ties off to an anchor point. I haven't finished my piece because I haven't been able to figure out a good anchor point here in my house or my yard. But once you have your anchor point and your loom warped, then you set up your sheds. And so this one is with all my alternate ties. So this is the one that I move all of this up, and then I pull this, and that's how the sword goes through for the first shed. And then you twist this and it separates the threads to the alternate ones that are not on this. And then you stick your sword through, and that's how you alternate between the two sheds. And then you go and you pick up a small, it's like 5, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, all the way across, just repeating that section. And that is how you get the areas that you're going to do brocade. So this is your straight weave, and then this is brocade. And so I did a series of traditional forms along with my stripes. These small ones, those are mosquitoes. And then this is a rose. And then these are pepitas, pumpkin seeds. So I just have to finish the repeat and do my mosquitoes, and then my final repeat of my ribbon. I still have excess, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to do more repeats or if I just want to call it a day. It was really very physically intensive, much more than I expected. After the first day of trying to separate the shed and get my sword in there, like my left shoulder was super uncomfortable and pulled. So it was very interesting to me, like how physical this is and how much of your body you use for the weaving. I'm traditionally a rigid huddle weaver, and so a lot of the shed is already created for me, and the mechanics of the loom. While we were there, we were also able to study and learn about different types of embroidery and brocade that are added to items to embellish them. They typically come from different villages in Guatemala. So like a specific style is known to a specific village. And so this is a huipiles. This is the traditional top that indigenous women in Guatemala will wear. This is also a huipiles. So you can see the different styles that they do. what happens with, sorry, I saw questions pop up.
No questions, keep going.
Okay. So in the base of how they build things, right? This is indigo dyed cotton thread that they make on different size looms, and then they embroider, seam them. So this is a larger piece that has been sewn together out of small pieces. And so that's how they build up a lot of their fabric when doing it on the traditional backstrap loom. I have my cute little bag that my loom came in, so we didn't lose anything. The airport almost tried to keep it. So sorry, I was trying to rush through things because I know that I have delayed the program. So does anyone have any questions?
We just have one question. How is the name of the top spelled, please?
Huipilles.
Oh, great.
Huipilles. And Kakaw is Kakaw. They're online and on Instagram, and they do natural dye weeks, they do embroidery weeks, and they do backstrap weaving weeks. The ladies there were fantastic. I do not speak Spanish. I tried to learn a bit before I went, but there were Doña Eve, who is the head of the group of weavers that taught us. She speaks English. My instructor, Doña Vilma, did not. And so we used Google Translate, and we did our best to, kind of mime and things like that. And we figured it out, and she was really lovely. And then, when I was going around in Antigua, thankfully I was able to use my phone for what I couldn't remember on how to order food and things. But Antigua is a very lovely town. I also stayed in Panajachel, which is a little crater lake up in the mountains, because Guatemala is this. It's all mountains. And so I stayed in Pana a couple of nights the weekend before we went to the main week. And I think they actually have a few classes at some of the villages in Panajachel.
Well, Jaime, thank you so much for sharing that information and making it here on time. We greatly appreciate that. And I'm sure there's already some questions in the chat, so please check those out. I'd like to introduce our next guest, Jocelyn Shaw, who's with the Woodland Weavers and Spinners Guild. And Jocelyn is going to share some information about their Textile Education Day. Welcome, Jocelyn.
Hi, thanks so much. My name is Jocelyn Shaw, and I'm a member of the Woodland Weavers and Spinners Guild in Western Michigan. About 3 years ago, some members of the guild, which is about 140 fiber artists, were looking for an interesting way to do some outreach to the community to fulfill our mission of promoting textile arts. One of the members came up with the idea of TED, Textile Exploration Day. It would be a day where non-guild members could learn about textile arts. She brought the idea to the board and was immediately encouraged to follow through on it. We formed a committee and worked on the idea for several months. We decided that TED would be a one-day event consisting of 4 90-minute sessions featuring a variety of textile arts, such as four-shaft weaving, card weaving, felting, etc., with a 15-minute break between classes and a longer lunch break, for a total of 24 classes and 120 student seats. It would run from 9 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. and be open to non-Woodland Weavers and Spinners Guild members. We decided to charge $10 per class so we could reimburse the teachers for their time and materials. The students would leave with a sample of what they had learned. We limit an individual student to 2 classes. We investigated and decided to use Sign Up Genius to register and track enrollment. And we created flyers, bookmarks, Facebook posts, did a lot of word of mouth, and we did press releases to get the word out. And one of the advantages of the press release was a local TV station got it and asked us to be on their local program. We created a budget to cover the cost of the venue, the instructor pay, which we decided would be $25 per class, material costs of $10 per class, and marketing. The Guild approved a budget of $1,700. We put out a call to the membership and received many class proposals covering the diverse interests of the Guild membership. From this, the committee created a schedule and put out a call for volunteers to help in the classes and other activities at the event. We found and reserved a location at a local college with good parking and set up online registration. We designed a teacher contract and asked each teacher to write a short description of their class and give us a photo of the project to use in advertising and on our website and on Sign Up Genius. We updated our website to announce the event about 8 months in advance. We encouraged our members to start talking about TED and telling people when they'd be able to sign up. Posters and bookmarks were distributed around the area, and about 4 months prior to the event, we updated our website with the class descriptions and photos. Each instructor prepared their own project and materials, including warping the looms before the event, and the instruction sheets that were handed out in many classes. We planned the layout of the room so that we could hold six classes at a time and have room for instructors' materials before and after classes, as well as a waiting area for students who arrived for their class early. We opened up registration 2.5 months before the event and found that our promotional activities had been very effective. At our annual winter textile arts market 3 weeks later, we made a point to talk to people about TED. In the past few years, we've had an area for demonstrations of different fiber arts. It was the perfect time to talk to people about TED as they asked questions about what we were doing and how we were doing it. By early January, we were 95% full for a February 3rd event. The response was so good that we had to have waiting lists. Of course, we did have cancellations, but we were able to fill those spots from the waiting lists. The day of the event was beyond our expectations. The registration and payment was handled at the door and made easier by the list generated by Sign Up Genius. The room was abuzz with happy students and teachers spinning, weaving, and doing other textile arts. We had 16 Guild members teaching classes and another 16 volunteering to help to make the event run smoothly. We had 52 students doing weaving. We had 4 shaft looms, pin looms, diagonal looms, tablet weaving, inkle looms, tapestry, and foam core. 27 students in either wet or needle felting. 11 students braiding either finger loop or kumihimo, and 18 students either spinning on a wheel or suspended spindle. We were tired at the end of the day, but excited about repeating the event. We had 5 people join the Guild after attending, and many asked if we would be doing it again next year. The cost for the first year was $1,200. Only about half the teachers took the $25 stipend and or the materials fee. The planning this year was much easier because we had all the timelines, forms, and decisions done, and most of the instructors wanted to teach again. This year, we applied for and received a grant from the Michigan League of Handweavers based on our experience from last year. We increased the number of classes and in some cases, the number of students per class. During the year, we were often asked if we would be holding the event again, so we knew there was a lot of community interest. We had many members who again volunteered their time to teach, assist in a class, or help in some other way at the event. When we opened registration in late November, we were 70% full within weeks. We held our second TED on February 1st. We had 7 to 8 classes every 90 minutes with 15-minute breaks between. So we had 30 90-minute classes and 160 student seats this year. We had a few no-shows, but we offered the seats to students already in the building who picked them up quickly. We had 19 members teaching classes and another 19 volunteering as helpers and other roles throughout the day. We asked the students and instructors to fill in a 5-question evaluation card, and approximately 115 forms were returned with an average response of 4.8 to 4.9 on a scale of 1 to 5. Student comments on the evaluations were extremely positive, with some helpful suggestions. Instructor evaluations were equally positive. We gained 10 new members after the event this year. We had 77 students in weaving, and this year we had 4-shaft rigid heddle, pin, round looms, inkle, tablet, and tapestry. 43 students in wet or needle felting. 13 students in kumihimo or finger loop manipulation. 18 students spinning on a wheel or a drop spindle, and 9 students in cyanotype dyeing. Both years, our largest expense was the building space. We again offered the $25 per class instructor stipend and the $10 reimbursement for class materials. And again, many members volunteered their instruction time and/or materials. We found that TED has been a very effective way to reach out to our community and support our and HGA's mission of educating the fiber community. Our students enjoy learning new skills, and our instructors enjoy meeting new people and sharing our knowledge and love of the textile arts. We've already had our first planning meeting for TED 3. Thank you. Any questions?
Oh, sorry. No, it doesn't look like we have any questions.
Okay.
For sharing with us that information. It's so great to hear that your guild had such a fantastic response to that. If another guild wants to take on what you did, is it possible for them to reach out to you?
Oh, yes, definitely. We would really like to help somebody else do this.
And how can they do that?
I think there's a contact us on our website, www.as.org.
And your guild, it's a member of HGA, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So they can also go to that guild directory that we talked about a little bit earlier. Great. Well, thank you so much for doing that. Sharing your story. We appreciate that. And it looks like somebody just put that in the chat for us. So
Hey,
thank you so much. Okay, so let's move forward. It's actually about 1 minute to the hour, and it's time for another donation update. And just a quick reminder, if you can donate, please do. I'm going to be checking here in just a second, and I'm really hoping that we're going to have $4,000 on our donations. So here's how you can donate. You can donate by calling us at 678-730-0010, or you can donate online. And if you don't donate on the Fiber-A-Thon page, it immediately tallies into that Fiber-A-Thon donation that amount, so you can see how we're doing for today. If you use our donate button, we'll get it too, but that will be shared. We have to go in and do a little bit of manually updating, so that's not a problem. All right, so let's take a look. Here we are on our Fiber-A-Thon page. Oh, it looks like we have a question in the Q&A. Where are you? Is that for the guild, Sally, or is that for HGA? I think that might be for the guild. If you want to put that in the chat, Sally, we'll get an answer for you on that. Okay, so back to our update here. Let's see where we are. It's 3 o'clock Eastern time. Oh, we're so close. We're at $3,930. We are just $70 short from hitting $4,000. Can somebody help us hit that mark?